Hi teachers, today's Saturday, November 14th, and I'm wearing a tie. So this is not a drill. We are going to be moving online learning starting Monday, and that will run through December 1st. We spoke briefly on Thursday about policies and expectations. I wanted to rehash some of those things and try to clarify any areas that may not have been clear throughout the course of that meeting. As you know, this move to online learning was made out of necessity. In an abundance of caution, we've had a number of students test positive for COVID. They've all been independent of one another. There's been no community spread, but at this point, the number of students on quarantine in the quarantine list has grown very large, and it was in the best interest of the school to move to online learning. At this point, I'd like to really commend all the teachers for the work that they've done and the vigilance that they've shown to help our students protect themselves from themselves and make sure all those policies are maintained in the building. You know, we got to mid-November without any examples of community spread, and that's been a result of your dedication to our students and your great efforts. Next, I want to take a look at an email that was sent to the faculty on Thursday following our faculty meeting. I gave an example of two teachers. I think you probably know who they are. One in the history department, one in the science department. We were just calling them Teacher A and Teacher B, and what their schedule would look like. So, of course, this hypothetical situation and this date of Friday, November 13th was day 6, and that would be an even day. The only thing that's going to change about the schedules that you see there, of course, we're going to be moving on to day 1 starting on Monday. And that would, of course, be an odd day. So where it says here the history teacher, for all history classes, they would meet synchronously. On Monday, of course, as an odd day, all of those classes would meet asynchronously. And likewise, Teacher B, who was a science teacher, will be leading their classes synchronously. Once again, during the online model, the block schedule has been eliminated. Every period, every class will meet every day. We've done this in the past. We did this throughout the course of the hybrid model. So in essence, we're going to return to the hybrid model as far as the schedule is concerned. We're going to run periods 1 through 9. There will be no block schedule. These examples will help you sort that out. And in each and every period, I think it's worth mentioning right here and now, each and every period, attendance will be taken. Attendance will be taken. So in the same way we're going to return to the hybrid model, attendance will be taken started period 1, regardless if it's synchronous or asynchronous, and attendance will be taken through period 9. We took attendance during our online model in the spring, but it was a little bit more difficult because it was based on the submission of assignments. This is going to be based on the attendance in Zoom. So if a student doesn't appear in Zoom, then of course they will be marked as absent on that day. The next question everybody has in their mind, well, what does this look like? We have a period of 7 class days between now and the start of Thanksgiving break. So starting November 16th on Monday, that falls as day 1 in the cycle. So the classes that are going to be synchronous on that day are the odd classes. You can see the departments listed below. Odd relates to English, science, math, world language, computer science, and engineering. All the teachers that are teaching those courses are expected to lead a Zoom lesson for 39 minutes. The teachers and departments labeled as even on Monday, day 1, the even requirements for those classes will be simply to pray, take attendance, and to do a brief check-in. Now for some of the basic expectations for teachers and during online learning. One thing that all students and parents will need to know is what's upcoming in the schedule. So this would be a look very quickly at an example of what that schedule would look like. It doesn't have to be in any great detail. We spoke on Thursday. It doesn't have to be students will be able to, but simply what topics are being covered, if there's any upcoming assessments, if there's any upcoming projects, making sure that we're listing what they are and what those due dates are in the schedule. And as you can see, this is posted right at the top of a Moodle page, right next to the announcements. It'll be the first thing that the students and the parents will see as they click on to a particular Moodle page. This is a good example. I would just again add denoting which days are even and odd, and therefore which days will be synchronous and which days will be asynchronous. And I'll remind you that the students the expectations for students are going to be made very clear, and they're receiving word over the weekend as well that, of course, they will be responsible and they will be required to log into Zoom each and every class period. Whether that's an asynchronous day, whether that's a synchronous day, they will be required in order to be marked present in PowerSchool for attendance. The expectation will be for those students to use your Zoom link and log on each and every day the class is assigned. And lastly, in order for students to log on to your Zoom and be marked present, they need the Zoom link. So please ensure that that Zoom link is updated and active. This, again, is an example right at the top of the page where it's very easy to see what some of those expectations are for those classes, reinforcing that the Zoom protocols are a good idea. But every parent has been assured that their sons will be able to access the classroom via Zoom. So please take time this weekend if you haven't already. I assume in the vast majority of classes, Zooming is already taking place on a daily basis. But ensure that that Zoom link is updated and those recurring meetings are marked so that we can start the day off right on Monday. Lastly, I just wanted to say that now we're moving back into online learning. We gained a great deal of experience through the spring with online learning. It wouldn't be our preference to lead instruction at a distance the way online learning is, but I know that we've improved a great deal since the spring. We've learned some tricks of the trade and some new technologies, and we're going to be able to use them to great benefit. Believe me when I tell you, even in the midst of all of this COVID and calling home and contact tracing, our parents are extremely, extremely appreciative of the work that we do at Central Catholic. They're extremely appreciative of the work that you do in particular as teachers. They love Central Catholic. They know that we're going to go to any extent to give their sons the best opportunities to continue to learn and grow and develop, and we've proven that. This is just one more challenge that I'm sure that we'll overcome. Thanks for all your hard work, and keep up the great work.